A beautiful morning to you and welcome to the Newspaper Review right here at Premier TV. I am Ayo bringing you the Newspaper Review. And coming up, we have quite a number of stories to be reviewed with you. First, we take the conversation from the unwavering celebration of 25 years of democracy that Nigerians are celebrating. We look forward to June 12th to see what the true essence of democracy has been. Then we take the conversation to minimum wage. As we all know, the NLC and TUC are meeting with the federal government at Abuja. The meeting has commenced already at 10 a.m. Let's wait and see the outcome of this meeting. This and many more are the conversations we will be having today. But before we go into all that we are for you, let's go on a quick break. And when we get back, we'll go into the show. Welcome back to the show. So first we'll be looking at a video of a woman speaker who challenged the Tinubu's administration while celebrating the 1 year in office. She challenged the true essence of democracy. Very quickly, let's see the video, then we hear our reactions.
And we're celebrating 25 years of independence, 25 years of unbroken democratic system. And for me, this celebration is coming to because Nigerians are all watching us. Nigerians are listening to us. Those people we are representing are listening to us. How much of this democracy, unbroken democracy that we are celebrating today, how has it translated to, unbroken food security? How has it transformed into unbroken security in the nation? How has it transformed into unbroken access to education, access to healthcare? And we're talking about celebration of democracy. The democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. And it should actually change the lives of our people. We are representing our people. Our people are hungry back home. For me, to be honest with you, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing to celebrate.
Oh, we are saying we should not celebrate
we should
democracy.
be looking at celebrating food security. We should be looking at celebrating access to healthcare. So we should be looking at celebrating. There are lots of things to celebrate. We know that we have had unbroken. Excuse me, please. I need to be protected. I need to be protected, Mr. Speaker.
You are protected, but democracy is what is protecting you. Democracy has given you that place you are standing.
We have on this floor.
To be a parliamentarian, you are democracy that gave you that platform. Are you saying you are not celebrating it?
How has it impacted? We need it to move a step further. We need it to move a step further. If I am here and it has brought me here, how has it impacted my own people? That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.
So please,
thank you.
We are celebrating, I am celebrating, but we should be
okay, we are celebrating it now.
Implement what we have been doing here.
Okay, thank you. So we are celebrating it now. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, democracy. That's the last words countered her first word, because democracy gave her the platform to be able to address this issue, and to say she is not celebrating it is what's better. Honorable Kafilat, I want to hear you speak, please.
All right, that is the video that caught our attention yesterday, and with me to analyze the session, as always, is my co-host, and you're welcome to the show. I would like to get your quick reaction on what this woman has said. For me, it is her audacity. For me, it is confidence. For me, is the fact that she takes the Nigerian people to heart, and she could talk about, the real issue we should be addressing. So let me hear your thoughts on this.
Hearing that woman speak, I saw the I saw the the attributes of a leader, because a leader is meant to be concerned about the people he or she is leading. On the other hand, speaking also as based on an agenda, I saw the love of a mother. I saw that concern of of the people as a mother, just like as a mother, we will be concerned about the well-being of her children. I saw that concern, right? That from what she has said, and from the response of the speaker, you can see that, should I say, why they are not bothered about what the cry of Nigeria is, because they are not being affected. So, but the woman noted that, in as much as democracy has brought her to that place, what impact has it on the people? That is the concern. That it can only come from somebody who is concerned about the people he or she is representing. You know, our leaders are not. Some of them enjoy fuel supply. All right, so they don't even know how much fuel is. Does not affect them, because they have this thing as one of the things they enjoy based on their positions in the government, in the federal government. Now, some of them have this, aside the huge salary they earn, some of them have these allowances, food allowances, on a very high note. Some of them have, access to medication, to health care. All right. Some of them enjoy these things that the ordinary civilians and the masses are crying out for. So they cannot talk about it. But you see a woman, you see a leader who, even though is not being affected, but knows that the people she represents are not enjoying this thing. So I am so much, and this brought to my notice that we could actually have people with good mind among these people. But when you are, a tree cannot make a forest. All right. If that woman sits in the position that gives her the power to change things from the depth of her heart, and from what she spoke from her mind, she spoke from the depth of her mind. So you and I, we can say that if she has the capacity to make changes or to enforce changes, she will do it. And these are the kind of leadership we look forward to having in Nigeria. People who are bothered about the pain of the people, leaders who are concerned about how Nigerians, it's not, you see them in that sitting, you see they are going to be enjoying, they are going to be served so many things. But how are the people celebrating democracy? I think Nigerians are the ones to be celebrating the democracy, and not even the leaders. Nigerians should come out and say, yes, we have enjoyed democracy in this country. All right. So I am impressed by her speech.
Well, there are quite a number of things that came to mind as soon as I got the video. And first is the reaction of the people around. They were expressionless. Some of them were even having handshakes, having conversation. They began to make noise in order to distract her, in order to distract her from continuing her speech. And there's also the Mr. Speaker himself, who kept on interfering in whatever she wanted to say, just so she could sit down. And from the expression of the other people, you can see leaders who go to the House of Assembly to just go there for their selfish reasons. I mean, it reminds me of the deliberation of the new national anthem, and quite a number of persons. I was expecting people to object at the Senate. I was expecting them to object to the national new old national anthem that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu intend to bring back. And we heard the likes of some of our senators that they were saying it shouldn't be motherland, it should be fatherland, and that was the argument. And some of them were saying they should not make it native, that they should change the word native and turn it to tribe and all of that. Deliberations that are not supposed to be. So those videos came into mind as soon as I saw the reaction of those people. And this woman highlighted a very vital point, and the vital point is on democracy. And like you have rightly said, democracy should be celebrated by the people. What unbroken democracy are we celebrating since the past 25 years? It is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The leaders are meant to serve. And this woman has highlighted a vital point that our leaders are not serving us. Our leaders are there for their selfish reasons. And you can see quite a number of things that has happened in the last 1 year of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have seen our leaders make decisions without putting the people in consideration. We have seen our leaders make, I was listening to some reviews of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and one of the many things that somebody said was, the person emphasized on the fact that this administration is a listening administration, and I tried to get what she meant by saying this administration is a listening administration. First is the fact that there is a social media where they can get the people's feedback. People are lamenting day by day. But as much as the people's lamentation is getting to our leaders, they are not taking the people's lamentation into cognizance. So here is a vital point to address now that June 12th is coming. What exactly can we say has been the true consideration of the Nigerian people? That's one of the many questions to ask, that as the Nigerian people be put into consideration. Yes, we can say that they have done this, they have done that.
Under democracy.
Under the umbrella of democracy. But the true people whom we are supposed to be, our leaders are supposed to be serving, are they being served? That's the question. Nigerians are not interested in statistics, and Mr. President has made that very clear. Because if we are to look at statistics, Nigerians are not eating statistics. The fact remains that we are paying more on a lot of things that we should be enjoying. I mean, as at the time that this administration came into power, fuel was around 261 naira. Now fuel is going to 800 naira. That is over 100% increase on fuel. As at the time this administration came into power, food inflation was around 23%. Now food inflation is going to 40%. That is statistics. These are the things, real life issues that we ought to be addressing. Yes, this administration has brought about the policy, but the policy is not benefiting the people. So I expected that the 1 year in office that we are supposed to be addressing ought to be on how have we been able to serve the Nigerian people. And this is the vital thing that that woman is addressing. And I just hope that she doesn't lose her job. That has always been the case. Look at
we saw from the reaction of the people in that video, you discovered that she said things. She appeared to say things that contradict their, they were surprised.
Yeah.
All right, and that was why I noticed that a lot of hands rose up when she was talking, just to interrupt her, just to cut her short. All right, and it was glaring clear from the speaker down to every other person in that meeting. I discovered that these are leaders. They are just, because they don't have the interest of the people. They are satisfied with them self-satisfaction. All right, they so long their family are covered, so long when you talk about health, their families are enjoying the health. Their families are enjoying one benefit or the other. They are just okay, and that is why you have these people. Most of them, their children are abroad schooling. All right, you discover that our leaders are not talking about education, because most of them, their children are not schooling in Nigeria. If they are schooling in Nigeria, they will of course want to contribute to the improvement of education in Nigeria. They won't talk about education. Most of them, they've sent their children abroad. So when you talk about security, they feel that their family are not in Nigeria, so they are not. All right, so this thing, I just wish people of this mind, so people of that woman's kind of mind could occupy a good position in this nation. That is when Nigeria can begin to enjoy true democracy. And just like you rightly said, June 12th, Nigerians should be able, if they are really concerned about the interests of the people, Nigerians should be able to speak for themselves. Yes, under the umbrella of democracy, we have seen this, we have seen this, we have enjoyed this, we have enjoyed it. Not them speaking for us. I think we have our mouth. Yeah, Nigerians can speak for themselves.
Exactly. Like I said earlier, I just hope that woman doesn't lose that job, because we see that earlier in February, when the budget was passed to the Senate and they discovered there was budget padding of 1.2 trillion naira, and Senator Ningi rose up and said, "What is this 1.2 trillion naira allocated to? What have we, when we deliberated on this, the budget Mr. President signed does not have this padding on it. What happened to this?" And a lot of people rose up to the fact that some constituencies are getting more money and all of that. And the man emphasized on something that even our leaders, who is the Senate president, Akpabio, we don't know how much he is earning. As a result of that opening, because he is beginning to say some
Dig
things he
out.
was not supposed to say, according to them, because there are things that Nigerians, they also be accountable to Nigerians for. And for that sake, this man was suspended for 3 months. In fact, amongst them, the senators, they were saying that no, this man should be suspended for 1 year, because he's part of those who didn't vote, who didn't support Akpabio to become the Senate president. Now, this man is currently on suspension. Why? Because he has said the truth. And I just hope that doesn't become the lot of this one. And I think more voices like this should be arising in leadership.
Yeah.
When people like this speak up, more people should arise and support her, especially those who have this same intention. You see, for to pay the price. When more voices arise, and these are some of the things that Funmilayo Ransom Kuti did in her days, that she ended up sending the king to exile. She gathered all the women. They were beaten, they were battered, they were tortured. Some of them almost lose their life, but they ensured that they sent the king, the Alake king, they sent him to exile. And we are still talking about these women today. And like you said, this is the power of a woman. And it is just so unfortunate that sometimes you see that when some women occupy this position, they end up abusing it, just like the way we have Betta Edu. But this is not a comparison. But I give thumbs up to this woman. And she emphasized on something. She emphasized on education. She emphasized on health. She emphasized on security, on food. These are the major issues that we ought to be tackling. It is not the student loan. Yeah, it is not the student loan that we are talking about.
I really looking at the. Please, can we have that video again? You see, how many women do we have in that city? How many women do we have in that city? If we have 2, 3, 4 of this kind of people who are really advocating for their people, I tell you, in as much as they are not, their number is not up to the number of the men, gradually they are going to make a change. I discovered that these men, once they go to that meeting, because of course in Nigeria every meeting has allowances for the leaders, so they are concerned. Most of them, they are going there, they don't even prepare. From that woman didn't just say, she didn't say those things by accident. It was settled in her mind. All right. It means that even before going, she went to that meeting with that burden in her heart, that if only I can be given the privilege to. And what Mr. Speaker was able to say is that democracy has given you the privilege to express your democracy, has given you the privilege to stand here. So it's the people, leadership of this nation is beyond, and that is why I discovered that this quest for power, this quest for self-interest, is the reason why they want to get to these positions at all costs. Right? Because they are not there to serve the people. But you see people who have the intention of service. Of course, Nigerians should be the ones celebrating, not the leader. Okay, now 25 years. What has Nigeria, what can we say? What, just like the woman said, we should be celebrating security. Before now, there was insecurity, but under the umbrella of democracy, we are now enjoying security. Before now, education was dilapidated in Nigeria, but under the umbrella of, these are the things the woman highlighted. That we should be celebrating good governance under the umbrella of democracy, not the access to be in the meeting, like Mr. Speaker said, not the access to sit on the nation's treasury and begin to do things and tell us story, just like you said earlier, right? So I just hope our leaders could just emulate, and of course, as a leader, you should know that if you refuse to talk and you just allow the activities of this bad leadership of people to prevail. Nigerians will count you as among the people who has led Nigeria to destruction. So this is a charge for and an advice to every leader in any position, in any parastatal that has good intention, but because you do not have the capacity based on your position to infuse any change in what is currently happening in Nigeria, but at least let Nigeria hear. Let it be on record. What that woman said is on record. Let it be on record that you voiced out, but because the forces that are more than you could not allow you to prevail, it will be on record that you voiced out.
Exactly. Do you know the number of Nigerians that are living because of these things that this woman has highlighted? We know that the educational system in this country is terrible. Terrible. When lecturers are being underpaid, they are not, there's nothing to swell them up to, to do the right thing. There's nothing to move them to say, okay, let's do it this way. The education is taking up.
Sorry to cut you. You know what you just said now? A lecturer, I will not mention them, a lecturer of a particular university once told his student, he said before now, students used to criticize lecturers that that they're always on strike. That are always on strike. He said, but lecturers now have decided not to go on strike again. You know what he said? He said they will increase school fees. If you cannot afford, go home. That is what Nigeria education in Nigeria has resulted or has become. The Nigerian government are not, in any way doing anything to make education easy for those who are not financially buoyant. So rather, if you cannot afford it, quit education. So how do we groom the future leaders of this nation? It becomes a problem, and that is why people are into crime. If you check the statistics of the number of people in crime today, it is the youths, because they are not properly informed. They are not, they don't have, they are in darkness because education is like light. So under democracy, we should be enjoying or talking about how democracy has transformed the educational system of Nigeria. That is what we should be celebrating, and not just merriment.
Yeah, exactly. I glanced through a statistics recently by the Nigerian immigration system, and they said passport demand has risen to 2.1 million since the last 1 year. If you go to the embassy now, you see Nigerians trying to apply. And thank God the Minister of Interior, Olatunji Ojo, has made it really easy for you to apply for passports. You can do that online and all of that. And these are one of the people we can say that are truly working in this administration. The rate at which Nigerians are leaving the country for a whole lot of things is much. I've been following up on a particular nurse whose wife died at an hospital because of the negligence of the doctors. I've been following up with it. A lot of Nigerians are advising this one that you are a qualified nurse. Leave this country and go and get a life elsewhere. You see that we are losing our people because all of these things, they are lapses. They are lapses in all these areas that has been highlighted. So these are the real places where this administration can give account of through democracy that we have served Nigerians in the health sector. We have served Nigerians in education. We have served Nigerians in providing basic amenities that is needed for Nigerians to, have the good livelihood and all of that. But then we would like to continue this conversation on food hike and all of that. So let's go to the next story. So the next story is on food hike, and traders, market women have come out. They are out to say that they are not intentionally increasing the prices of food. And some of them mentioned that the reason why food is becoming really expensive is the fact that they are unable to get food due to insecurity. So this is a conversation. Let's see the news in details. Traders reject allegation of indiscriminate hike in prices of food items. Dealers in food items in selected markets across Lagos State have rejected the widespread accusations that they manipulate and inflate prices of food items indiscriminately. They have rather blamed the skyrocketing prices of food items on insecurity in many parts of the country, which they said had hampered supplies from farmers across the country. So this is the conversation. They are saying that they are not the real reason why food is expensive. We go to the market and you hear that okay, for instance, I went to get some things yesterday. The last time I got that particular product, that was December last year. I got it for 2,500 naira. Now it is close to 4,000 naira. And you discover that it is still the same thing, no repackaging, no rebranding. But because of these factors, things are becoming really expensive. I bought. I don't usually go to the market to get food stuff. My mom does. And then she went to the market and at some point she said she had to start writing everything down, like, how much is this thing? This, look at what I spent money on. And you were all surprised. I myself am more surprised because I barely go to markets to get food. So she does all this thing because she knows how to navigate her way and all of that. Now imagine the way things are really becoming expensive. But these traders highlighted a good point, which is on insecurity. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this. If at all we should keep on traders or we should fault other sectors.
Our governments have always been, this administration have always been on putting blame.
Blame game.
They do well in blame game. Why blame the traders when they know? See, the thing is that our leaders, this administration, is not as if they don't know the actual problem, but they don't want to do anything about it. Rather, they want to push blame. They just want to, should I call it, beating around the bush? That is what they are doing. Now, they cannot handle insecurity. Now, they cannot, okay, even if you cannot handle insecurity, what is the alternative means? If you talk, we can have importation of food, since that is what they want to reduce Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have some states that bears a food basket of the nation, meaning that the food supply from that state alone can take care of a nation. In Nigeria, we have states that God has blessed with so many. Of course, our land in Nigeria is blessed. Our soil is blessed. There is nothing that cannot grow under Nigeria's soil. All right. But rather, instead of looking into the main problem, they are shifting blame. Now, aside insecurity, we have the case of transportation. This food item must be transported from one place to another. For example, if we want to talk about states like Kogi State that deals on yam and some other things, for them to move it from that state to Lagos market, is transportation. They will calculate these things. Now, this administration is a tax administration. Now, farmers, traders, now business people now pay taxes. In Lagos markets, let it be that you are selling on the floor. There are people that will come and give you tickets.
Of course.
You ticket this, ticket that. All these things must be calculated and put together before you place price on your goods. So how do you want this trader to lose? All right. So the federal government blaming traders is out of it. That is not what they should be doing, because they are not the cost of the insecurity in Nigeria. They are not the cost of the hike in fuel price. So these two things, if taken care of, sometimes you discover that some of these farmers, where they are bringing out this farm product out from, there are no good road networks. And as a result of that, they might have a place where maybe vehicle cannot go in directly. They might have to have hire some people to bring these things out from the farm. Thereby having to pay extra money. Right? All this analysis put together is the reason why when they come out, they need to cross-check all this in before the pricing. So the farmers, the allegation is actually false. All right, because the government are not playing their part at all.
Yeah, exactly. I was listening to someone earlier today. She does farming on large scale.
Okay.
And she mentioned this Ekpe axis especially, she mentioned that she has a farm there and she has people cultivating the farm for her. Said two of her boys were arrested by some people. They accused them of stealing cables, stealing government-owned cables, whatever, and they have been back and forth in the on that issue,
Yes.
and they are yet to settle the issue in court as at now. These are individuals who decided that we want to go into farming so we don't go hungry. These are individuals, and on the long run, you see that things go bad and they are looking for who to accuse. This is the situation in Nigeria, that farmers go to the farm, and before you know it, some people will just attack them, hijack them, do all sort of things to them, and before you know it, this case of insecurity is sending our farmers into exile. You have less people who want to do farming, and you see and one thing I love about the Nigerian people is that we are very creative. Then
Very,
through
very.
creation, our creativity, we decide that we want to do sack farming. But can sack farming feed the whole of Nigeria? No. Sack farming cannot feed us. So if insecurity is not worked on, if security is not improved on, there's no how we are going to work on production. And one of the many things that can help a country to grow is
It's
to
production.
invest in production.
Certainly.
And the real time issue that we have in the country is food. This is the problem. Everybody is lamenting, this thing is too expensive, that is too expensive. Obviously, as good as this administration is good at listening to the Nigerian problem, they are not quick to providing solution. What Nigeria need now is not coastal highway. Nigeria need production. Even if the fuel subsidy is as it is, all this money we are spending on frivolities, let them invest it in production. Fine, if you say you don't want to invest the money in production yet, you want to see how insecurity can be curbed, deploy men. After all, when this administration is, I read an article from Premium Times. One of the many things that they said is that this administration has been able to recruit 30,000 policemen. 30,000 policemen, even if it is Lamba. Let those policemen be stationed nationwide, especially in places where we know farm produce are being done. Let these people be there. Let them be there to safeguard the life of our people, even while they are farming, even while they are doing all of this business, they are performing their business activities. Then we can say that, okay, now we have worked on this part. We can see production happening. But obviously, this administration does not know how to give accounts.
I don't really know what to say under, to this administration. Is it that insecurity has come to stay? In Nigeria, we have the armies, we have the police, we have the navy, we have all sorts
They are just enjoying the AC, the air condition. They are just enjoying all of these benefits. You see, it is only in this government, it is only in this part of the world that we see that our leaders don't serve us. Look at the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. He is serving his people. He's serving his people big time. The man is still using his personal car. The personal car he was using before he assumed office, he's still using it because he understood that there is no point getting official cars when we can still manage the one we are using. Nothing is wrong with it. Why park it to get an official car? So you see that this government, they are making it look like when you assumed office, you have to get back the money you spent in getting into the office.
I was reading a story recently. I don't know how true that is, and that story was like it was coming from an article. He said, in the presidential villa, we have about 615 aircrafts in the presidential villa. He said, why spend money on all these things? Why not give it out or lease it out to people that are into airways so that it can generate money for the nation? And these things, if truly it is, we have maintenance fee under the federal government budget. Maintenance for all these things. And that is why, because we have this thing excessive, you see, our wish this, just like you said, what we need, just imagine the huge sum budgeted for coastal highway project. Meanwhile, that will not solve the food problem we are suffering currently in Nigeria. It will not solve the insecurity. Okay, now, was it not last time we had case of the train attack? Now, coastal highway, what are the security measures that will be put in place to ensure the safety of people that will be traveling through that route. All right, so now our leaders are not really focusing on things, the needs of the people, the basic needs of the people. They are not concerned about it. And this brings me to asking, is it that they have their own benefit in all this? Nigerians are lamenting, and it seems as if they are not hearing us. Of course, if they are not acting based on the reactions of Nigeria, it means they are not bothered. What are their concerns? Where is their conscience? Are they leading themselves, or they are leading the people? Are they out to serve the people, or they are out to serve themselves and their family? Because if they are just imagine you are working for somebody and your boss is complaining about your approach to work, and you are not doing anything to of course you are not, your stay or your days in that workplace will be numbered, because he can get angry and fire you anytime. That is what is happening in Nigeria. Are these people out to serve the Nigerians, or they are serving themselves? It is a question that always bother me, because I see no reason why in a time like this all they do is to blame people, okay, now the farmers. What is the support system for the farmers? There are those that are still in the midst of the insecurity, that are still into farming. What is federal government support aid to them? Supply of fertilizer? What is their measure? Because we are not hearing of that. They are not coming out to tell us, okay, for those who are still into farming system, or in the budget, this is what we are budgeted to aid agriculture. The loan they are talking about giving to students, why not create loan for agriculture? Even if you cannot, why not create that platform for agriculture, so that those who are still into farming can come out and obtain loan to make their I don't know. Only God will help this administration.
So we really have to tackle this from the grassroots. The reason why agriculture has gone to where it is today is due to insecurity. That's the main reason. How many persons would want to go to the farm when they know that they may likely not
lose
come
their
back?
life.
So nobody would want to do that. Nobody would want to risk their life. So you see people only doing the farming that can only sustain them. Those who are truly venturing into large-scale farming are people that they are paying more for security. And we really cannot blame. You see, it is the Nigerian people that are actually lamenting for food. Our leaders are not lamenting
Not
for
at
food.
all.
Because they cannot tell us that they are eating only Nigerian-made food. Are they eating only Nigerian-made rice? No, that's the question. They are not eating Nigerian. Even the Nigerian-made rice that we are still eating stone with it. What is okay now? They stop importation of rice. Do they want to tell us that they are not eating some of this imported rice in their houses? No, that's the big factor. And even if you want the Nigerian-made rice to come to stay, what measures are you putting in place to ensure that people are really getting this thing as much as they ought to get it? No measures are being put into place. Lagos has one of the largest rice mill in Nigeria. What is wrong with that rice mill? Is that rice mill functioning as a Ikorodu? If you go to that place is as quiet as ever. It is not functioning. So this is a call that if insecurity is dealt with, and if those places that they know that insecurity is not affecting them as much, like the rice mill at Ikorodu, what investment are they making to ensure that that rice mill comes back to life? These are the things that we should be tackling. So obviously, this administration is not looking at how we can ensure that things get better for Nigeria. They are looking at crude oil, sitting and balancing on crude oil. And if you can say the only achievement that we can see so far in this administration is that crude oil increased. They began to increase on metric. I think they are now supplying about 2 million metric tons per day on crude oil. That is the increase in the last 1 year. That is the increase because they know they will get more.
The presidency
is sitting on it. They know what they are going to get from it. So that is the only places where we have increase. If you look at other places, our FX deducted.
And this thing brought, actually, it is the reason Nigerians have been asking some questions like, who Nigeria really, say that truly there is fuel subsidy removal, since nobody can actually account for that. Since this administration is accountable to no one, now we cannot call on the Minister of Petroleum to come and account for that, because our dear president is the Minister of Petroleum.
No, we can see it. They've given the breakdown. They've shown us the progress, even though he's not saying anything on his own.
Okay. Okay.
All right. We will be wrapping up this conversation with a video. They said they are not celebrating this 1 year anniversary. That was what we heard,
That
right?
was what
And there was
story.
even a conflicting conversation between the presidential spokesperson Ajurin Galilei and the special advisor to the president on communication, Bayo Ononuga. They said we are celebrating it on low key. Ajurin Galilei is saying no, the president is not addressing
Addressing
the nation on any issue. But then we are seeing souvenirs.
Okay.
So let's see the origin of this.
I'm sure that video was a leakage.
Oh my! So let's quickly have the video. Who made these souvenirs? Let's see.
It's cool.
All right. In that souvenir, there was an iPad. Am I the only one that saw it? There was an iPad. There's face cap. There's a lot of things
written on it.
The name is so. If they didn't celebrate this thing, where did they get all of these souvenirs? About these souvenirs, or is it a low-key celebration that Nigerians are not aware of? I mean, if at all, we don't even know where the souvenir is coming from. That's one thing, and we can't say it is Photoshop. This is not AI generated. I'm seeing the hand of a Nigerian man bringing those things out. I'm seeing Nigerian made designs in those things. So if there was no party, how come they are sharing souvenirs? If the motion is to serve the Nigerian people, how come they are celebrating this thing in a very big way? I don't want to mention the brand, so it doesn't look like we are making adverts for them. But then, how expensive that particular iPad is, considering the number of persons that will have access. I'm sure that is not a layman's souvenir.
Sure.
It is not a souvenir that you give to people on the street. It is a souvenir that you get at parties. So let me hear your thoughts and we round up on this conversation.
What else do you want to hear? What else do we want to say? This it is under this administration you hear government officials, our leaders, our dear leaders, refusing access to pressmen to some places. All right, because they want to have an indoor a sitting, a meeting where they don't want whatever that will happen in that place to be revealed to Nigerians. Only God knows how this thing got out. And I'm sure somehow it could be maybe one of the leaders, probably it could be maybe their children that decided to open the package their daddy brought from a party. That is what I can see.
That's not the hand of children. That's an adult.
Somebody. What we have in our leaders forum today is people of 80s. So it's possible for you to have somebody of that age, some maybe like but I'm sure it's somebody trying to unveil the package of a dad that come from a meeting, all right, and decide to make a video and post on the social platform. So initially there was this news that the presidency is coming to inaugurate, to commission, and I'm sure they heard the feedback from Nigerians on the things they are set to commission. Projects that have been commissioned years ago, but just maintenance. You want to count maintenance as a achievement, all right? So I'm sure reaction to that news is the reason why they cancelled on addressing and carrying out that plan. So, and maybe because of that, of course, I said something here. I don't know if it was in one of our programs. I said, maybe if they want to come out to tell us what they have done, and maybe Nigerians don't know where those, at least they can come out and tell us, in Sabisa Forest, we built a new school. If you can go there and check. Like somebody will always say, go and verify. All right, but there was nothing to show us, and I'm sure that was why they couldn't come out to address the nation. But there was a party. a party, and you discover that we have this thing, these expensive packages in their hundreds that will be supplied to people, to all that will attend that party. All these resources put together, you know the cost. You and I know what that iPad will cost, and every other things. There's even something that was wrapped that we don't know the contents. These things cost huge amount of money. Not to talk about cash gifts. Of course, there must be cash gifts. So if these resources can be put together and channeled towards one of the problems Nigerians are currently facing, then we will not be lamenting. If we channel all these resources on tackling food issues, on tackling insecurity, just imagine we channel all the whooping sum that is to be diverted or channeled to coastal highway. Just imagine our leaders can channel it on tackling insecurity. What do you think will happen? It will be a soft case. So, but they are bent on enjoying themselves, frivolities,
Exactly.
and thereafter they come out to tax the people to run the nation.
Exactly. On a final note, Nigerians should note that a meeting is currently ongoing with the federal government and the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress, and TUC, the Trade Union Congress. We all are waiting to we all are waiting for the outcome of this meeting. According to NLC and TUC, if federal government does not arrive at a good conclusion on minimum wage, they may likely go on strike on Monday, then the 3rd of June 2024. So we'll end on this note and we'll keep Nigerians updated on the conversation around the minimum wage. So I am Ayo, but before we leave the studio today, we'd like that you follow us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Prime Media TV. On Instagram and TikTok, we are Prime Media Studios. On the website where you're currently watching us, we are enginespeak.com. And you can do well to follow us on YouTube. Till I come your way on Monday, do have a great day.